Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to the Prepare to Repair show. I want to thank everybody for starting their weekend off with us every week for the last year and a half. I appreciate it. Today's show is powered by RJ Graham Plumbing and Ferguson Supply Kitchen and Bath and Lighting Showroom located in beautiful Tinley Park. Whether you are doing a minor facelift or a full kitchen and bath remodel, Ferguson has you covered. So I want you to sit back, enjoy the show. Joining us today is Dan Genty with Sentry Pest Solutions.
Hello.
We're going to be talking about getting rid of and controlling pests. And no, we're not talking about human pests. True crime is usually on primetime. But this is a day show. We're going to talk about actual bug pests, insect pests. So before we get to Dan, I am going to start off with some homeowner tips that I have come across over the, I'd say, past few years. And, you know, I kind of like to throw out there. Some I've already brought out there or mentioned from time to time, but they're always worth repeating because they just keep coming up. And I'm sure this is going to apply to you, Dan.
Oh, absolutely.
And also I have here is Steve Jr. He's joining us again as a add-in. He adds his little bits and pieces here as a co-host.
One-liners here and there.
There you go. Well, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it.
I have fun.
So let me know what you think on these. I'm going to throw some out there that affect me, and I know they affect pretty much everybody in the service business. Yeah. But, let me know what you think. One I've come up with is work that is being done or offered, estimated, if you will, with limited or no warranty.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Do not go for it.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that because if you're going to get that or if you're willing to take that deal, you might as well do it yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's going to be the exact same thing as going to get done by a big box store. It's
there's nothing holding or tying anybody to it.
Exactly.
And you may get a discounted price for that, but realistically, what are you actually paying for?
You pay for that peace of mind.
Right. When you buy from and you get a warranty and you know that you're going to get a better quality job because they are warrantying it and
their name is attached to it.
Exactly. And theoretically, they're going to do a better job, you would think, because
you hope so.
Well, they're going to keep coming back.
Yeah.
And if they're going to have to keep coming back, they're not going to make any money off of it. So
exactly. Get it done right the first time. Be done with it after that. So.
Absolutely. And the warranty provides peace of mind knowing that your hard-earned money was spent on something that is going to be done correctly. And if not...
Exactly.
And, everyone's human. They make mistakes.
Yeah,
and
it happens.
There's issues that come up that, if it does come up, that shows the true integrity of a company anyway, that their willingness to stand behind what they do and make it right if there is an issue.
Exactly.
So I'm 100% proponent of warranties, getting people who stand behind their work.
Absolutely need them.
Yeah. If they're not going to give you any kind of warranty or a limited warranty or anything that is questionable like that, I would be looking around.
Yeah.
I would go another round. The other one is when calling for service, red flags should be when they start throwing prices out immediately to you without seeing what you have. So in other words, you call up and it's like, yeah, I want to have this. Oh, it's going to be, $200 for me just to come out, or it's going to be, $89 or $500, whatever it is, just for me to come out and look at this and that and send my guys out per hour. Or this, whatever the case may be, they're throwing out numbers, just that have nothing to do with any of the work you need done.
Most of the jobs that we do, there's certain numbers that we can attach to things. Anything for like general pest, it's going to be by square footage of the home.
Right.
If we're talking about something like a termite job or we'll say more like a stinging insect job, it's going to cost a whole lot less money if I can walk up to the house and see the say the hornet's nest at eye level, 5 feet in front of me, versus me having to put on a bee suit, go up on a ladder, go climb up to the second or third story and attack it there. Yeah, there's a huge different price and there's a huge difference in price between the two of them. Right. So I can't quote that. I need to get eyes on it, and then this is what it's going to be.
Right.
That's about all you can do.
But usually the pricing right out of the gate, it's kind of like, and I see this on, if you ever tried to sell anything on, like, say, Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
Like, say you're selling a car and you've got it up there for $5,000. You've got people right off the bat going, I'll give you $2,500 for it.
Exactly.
You haven't seen it yet.
You don't even know.
You haven't seen it yet.
Yep, you never know.
And so you're making an offer on something that you don't know. How do you know these people didn't put a fake picture up with a fake price?
There you go.
And then said, okay, I'll take your $2,500. Just send me cash over here at this, and then we'll be good to go.
Sell me the money.
And then you're going to get mad that you got taken. Well, you know what I mean? It's just
fault's on you.
Exactly. You see the kind of you see the red flags here right from the start.
Yeah.
So, and oftentimes when you call companies out there and they start throwing these numbers out, that may be a good indication if they're throwing numbers right off the bat.
You might be getting close to being had.
Or not even so much getting had. They don't want your work.
Yeah.
They're going to either make it so either A, it's going to be well worth it to go out there.
Yeah.
Or B, they don't want to go out there. Real people who want your work are going to want to come out, look at what you have.
Fair price.
Exactly. See
fair
what
price.
You have going on and give you that fair price and give you that fair assessment. And then this way, that fair assessment that they made when they came out, you can compare that while getting other prices and so forth. Yeah. So you become more informed. If somebody's throwing prices right off the bat and they haven't seen anything, okay.
They might be covering their behind for the extra $300-$400 that you might not even have to spend.
Well, it could be that, or honestly, who even knows?
Yeah,
it just doesn't smell right. It doesn't pass the smell test, and it's a red flag.
Exactly.
And also too, getting on that one or coming off of that one is, as a homeowner or as a consumer, you shouldn't call up asking for prices over the phone, because when you do that, you're basically you're giving them information, and their response or any kind of pricing is going to be based on the information you gave them.
Yeah.
So rarely is it going to be accurate as an on-site estimate, because you're giving them information that may or may not be relevant. You may be giving them, for example, and we were talking about this off the air before the show, is they're giving you an example of the symptoms. They're not seeing the problem.
Yes.
So you're going to give an estimate to repair what you think is the symptom and the problem.
Yes.
When in fact the two are totally different, so far away. Where and the visual will give you that type of be able to give that type of accuracy to give the right price.
If they're a professional plumber or contractor or pest control company, they would know what they're trying to get into.
Right.
They wouldn't need you to come tell them this is the problem.
That's exactly right. I mean, it's again, if you are going to make the diagnosis yourself, then and you want a price based on your diagnosis, then I mean, you're not going to. It's not going to be accurate. And
exactly.
If you were able to do that, you probably wouldn't be calling a service person, a professional, whether it be exterminator, plumber, electrician, HVAC guy, whatever the case may be. You wouldn't be calling them if you already knew what was going on and what was wrong. So, I mean, but I do get why people do it. They kind of want to get an idea of what it's going to cost.
Ballpark, yeah.
But realistically, that starts 3 or 4 steps prior to that, with checking out companies, checking out the reviews, getting solid information on them, so you know what you're dealing with when you make that initial phone call.
Yes.
And then
kind of know what you're walking into.
Exactly.
So a little bit of education so you can talk about it the correct way.
Right. Choose the company that you want to get.
Yeah.
So in other words, if they check your reputation out and they see that you've done, very good job for numerous customers, great reviews, and the reviews are very, they're different. They're not the same. They're just different types of jobs.
They're not the regular one-line robo responses.
Correct. Correct. And even some bad reviews, to say you had a bad review, It's not the red flag reviews. You can just read the ones that say, maybe you see kind of like you didn't see eye to eye,
Yes.
or maybe there was a miscommunication. That is something that can happen with anybody and often happens. You deal with enough people, you're going to have that. Nobody is going to be 100%
Exactly.
satisfied.
It's gonna pop up.
Absolutely. You're going to have. It's how you resolve any issues that you have.
There you go.
The red flag ones are they didn't show up, they didn't do the job, they were incompetent,
Yes.
so forth. I mean, those are ones you look at. But, you do your homework first.
After 16 visits, we still have the problem. It's
but you know what? Honestly, that I've run into issues like that where you know what the problem is, but at that, it's just the expense of actually making a permanent repair.
Oh, yeah.
Exceeds what they are able to do.
Yeah.
So there's always. That's why you've got to take some of these things with a grain of salt, because there's always a backstory on some of these things.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes there's not, sometimes there is. So, but yeah, realistically, you want to have somebody come out and look at it. Don't ask for a price over the phone. It's not really a good idea, and it very rarely is accurate.
Yeah.
So that's one thing to take from that. And lastly, if at any point you are uncomfortable with pricing, information regarding work or estimates that someone is giving you or wants to do, you don't have to take it. You don't have to take it. You don't have to do anything. You can take time, take as much time as you need, process, call other companies to get
another number.
Get second opinions. Do not tell them what you have. Do not. I get people who call. I see them online. They call up and they say, "Yes, I have I got a sewer problem. I got a break in my sewer. I got an estimate of, X amount of dollars. I need somebody to give me an estimate, another one. I think that's too high."
Yeah.
First of all, stop. Don't ever tell somebody what you have. That second opinion is worthless if you're telling them what it is, because they're just going to undercut them.
Yep.
Let them give the second opinion.
Say $50 under that.
Right. Or see if their findings are exactly the same.
Yes.
If their findings are exactly the same, then you have the secret of what the two estimates were, and you can go from there. So when getting that second information or secondary opinion or third opinion, if you need it, don't give any, just say, "I have a problem." Let them figure it out and see where everyone's
at. Be professionals about it, figure out what the problem
is,
give you their numbers. Then you have X amount of things you can juggle and figure out which way you're going to go.
And if they're all the same, they all come up with the same thing, and they're only a few dollars off, then you got to pick the best one that you like. So, and you always, and again, always take time. It's your house. You have control, first and foremost. Always take time to review what you've been told, research, and request more information. So this way you can make a solid, sound, accurate decision to solve your problem. So those are my tips to start off the week. You're listening to the Prepare to Repair show here on WJOL 1340. I'm your host, Plumber Steve with RJ Graham Plumbing, and I got Dan Genty here with Sentry Pest Solutions. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to get back in here and talk to Dan about what's going on in the bug world. Welcome back to the Prepare to Repair show. I am your host, Plumber Steve. Back with me is Mr. Dan Genty with Sentry Pest Solutions. And, Dan, what's bugging you, man?
Wasps.
You like
wasps and wasps. You know what?
You like my stupid joke?
Love the pun. I use it often in my line of work.
Consider the source here. I never heard a water joke. I never heard a,
You know what? When I come up with one, I'll be sure to send it over to you.
Believe me. So, how you been, man? Haven't seen you in a while. It's been a little bit since you've been on the show.
Busy.
Busy? What's going on? Like I said, what's going on in the bug world? What's common calls you're getting
right now?
Yeah,
it's wasps, hornets, yellow jackets. It's been just about insane with them. I mean, just off the air, I took a look, and my phone was going buzz. I had just gotten 3 calls in the amount of time that I've been sitting here. Wow. So it is definitely wasp season.
That's good. I mean, not good, but I mean,
I'm not complaining. It's I enjoy them. They're kind of like adrenaline fueled. It's not like the regular, here's some ants. No, it's okay, how many times are we going to get stung today? Let's go.
There's something wrong with you, man.
There absolutely is. Yeah.
There's something wrong with you.
There absolutely is.
I was telling you off the air. And I think I even mentioned this story when you were here before. Had a job where I was going to rot a sewer.
Yep.
And I wheeled my rotter over there, put it down because it was in the landscaping, and set it down. And all of a sudden, it's like I got, had a bunch of bees, coming at me. I got stung twice. I'm like, what in the world? I didn't see any sign of any kind of hive or anything, and I'm thinking your normal beehive being above ground and everything, and and that's not the case. I mean, people can actually they're on the ground.
They're subterranean. They're underground. My parents actually just let me know over the weekend that my dad just got stung. I mean, they show up out of nowhere, out of everywhere. It's my parents. I don't know why they didn't call me to begin with, but they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, your dad just got stung twice. And I'm like, what? Why didn't anybody tell me about this? And they're like, yeah, he was walking by the garbage cans on the side of the house, and they came up out of the landscape. I'm like, yeah, you guys got yellow jackets.
Wow.
I'll be over there in a little bit to take care of it. Had another customer call me yesterday. My husband just got stung. I'll swing by there, and cool. I'll swing over there to come take care of it. But they just show up, and they are ruthless.
Oh, they're extremely aggressive. Brutal. I mean, they follow me to the truck.
They'll chase you, and they'll just keep coming, and they don't expire after you get stung like a regular apis or honeybee does.
Mm-hmm.
They just sting and sting and sting and sting and sting until the threat's gone, and that is exactly what they'll do.
That's what they're designed to do.
Yeah, they just keep coming at you.
Wow, I didn't realize how aggressive they were. I mean, it's just they were coming, and I waited a while for them to calm down in order to get my machine. I mean, because it was. I think me setting the machine on top of it disturbed them. But so this can happen to anybody. Somebody could be gardening and just pulling weeds in their yard, and get surprised.
Yeah, there they are.
Even if they saw no signs anywhere else.
No, you won't see them. They're tiny. They're maybe, I don't know, maybe 3/8 of an inch, half an inch long at the maximum, at the big sized, and you will not even see them. They're quick. They're agile. They're amazing flyers. They zip, 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 and you won't even notice it until you're getting stung.
Oh yeah, I figured that one out the hard way. One on my hand, one on my neck. Oh, it irritated me.
Oh, they itch.
It was
after
just
the initial ouch. It itches and itches and itches, and they're.
Oh, I was mad. I was like, what? And it's like because I try to avoid that. I mean, and usually I'm pretty cautious.
You look,
when I'm yeah. And I didn't realize they were underground until talking to you. So you're learning a lot. So if people don't know that they have them, I mean, say they do what I did, or what your parents did, or they're pulling weeds. What happens when they pull? Like they encounter them. What do you do?
You just your best bet's just to walk away from it or run in many cases, and call a pro. They are not worth trying to mess with yourself. They are too aggressive and too angry. I've heard of people doing all sorts of things I'm not even going to say because I can't even believe somebody would even think about them, but they don't work.
I screamed and cried.
I'm sure I'm on somebody's ring doorbell camera running, flailing my arms just because, it's just a natural. What are you going to do? Well, you got a big old swarm of angry yellow jackets chasing you. Yeah, you're going to run. And I'm pretty sure I'm on multiple cameras doing it. So someday I'm going to show up on YouTube and be like, hey.
Mine was a few expletives, let me tell you.
No doubt about that.
I think I made up some words along the way.
Usually calling a pro is your best bet because they are deep underground.
Right.
They can go about 3-4 feet underground and spread out pretty wide, depending on the size of the nest. And usually the over-the-counter things you get at the big box stores, you're not going to even come close to getting all the way in there. You're going to get maybe the first 6 inches. You'll kill maybe 50, 100 of them, but you still got 2,000-3,000 of them sitting underneath the ground that they're ready to spring out after the pesticide wears off, the over-the-counter stuff, which is not a good thing because you think you got rid of them. Okay, let's go back to work. Next thing you know is, hey, now there's even more of them. So
those big, to get an idea or to get actually a grasp of what this nest would look like underground, you see some of those big ones that they have on houses or in trees.
That doesn't even come close to the ones that are in the ground. They are the ones that are in the trees. Those are bald-faced hornets.
Okay,
those are usually going to be some of the. They're really, 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 really closely related, but the ones that are in the trees and the ones that are in the ground, they are extremely different. The ones that are in the ground are going to have little. You can see them like little butt off of there. They'll kind of dig in between the roots and kind of.
Okay.
Basically, they like to be near roots and whatnot. just because it'll kind of hold the structure together a little bit more.
Right.
But the ones that are up in the trees, they're kind of almost like umbrella shapes that are kind of, man, this is tough to explain with words. It's like a bunch of umbrellas that are kind of attached.
But either way, you're in it. Once you have those, they need to call a professional like you.
Too aggressive.
Right.
They're way too aggressive.
So it's not going to be something like, okay, it's only if they're looking at a hive or they come across these underground like I did.
You'll see a little hole that's about the size of a nickel.
And it's underneath is a whole intricate,
yes,
it's
exactly.
basically double what you would see.
It's like a colony of, like you would see with a colony of ants.
Oh, wow.
They just kind of bud out and they kind of spread out from there. But yeah, the only thing you'll see is there's a hole in the ground about the size of a nickel. And that is the only visible sign that you might have them. And unless you're looking really hard for it, you're not going to see it until it's too late.
Now, what are those, when people see those wasp nests and those big nests up against the house or in a tree or whatever, and again, they usually come across them either by accident, because you would think it's like that's something that big, you would have seen it getting built.
Every year.
What's it being, well, I guess two questions I have. One, what's it made of? And two, do they reuse them?
Okay, paper. They essentially make paper. They'll find a deck, they'll find a fence, and they will go and they'll chew on that fence or that deck and bring that wood pulp back to the actual nest with their saliva. They mix the two together, and they make a pulp out of it with their mandibles. And then they'll go and they'll actually create the nest itself. It's made out of essentially just wood and saliva.
Wow.
And the only reason that they would use those again would be if they were using that pulp that was originally there for another nest. I've seen them get like chewed up a little bit, but there's usually plenty of wood all around there. They're not going to touch them ever again.
So once the season's done, that big thing that they have there, they move out, it's gone.
Yep.
And what happens to them in the wintertime?
Wintertime, right around now, they'll start making females, like creating females instead of making workers and drones. And the females will go.
Hold on, how do you make?
You just flip over the pheromones. And
okay, I don't know the biology here.
So the queen that's making the eggs now,
okay,
she'll go and she'll lay the eggs, and they'll pop out and they'll pupate and turn into basically little grubs inside of the nest.
Everyone's getting a bug biology lesson right now.
And instead of those little grubs turning into basically like workers and drones, they'll start turning into fertile females. And those females will go off. They'll go off with whatever males and whatever, and they'll basically fertilize, and then they'll go and they'll usually hang up and they hide inside of soffits and attics and whatnot, and they wait till spring. And once those females pop out of there, every female that went up into that soffit during the spring will end up, every female that popped up in the attic over the fall, basically they'll go up there, they'll overwinter for a few months, they'll pop back out, and they'll go restart another colony. So they'll go and make another hive.
So they're not dying out; they're just hiding out.
The drones and the workers end up dying.
Okay,
and then the new queens, will say, they're up hiding inside of soffits, up inside of trees, up inside of places where they can just kind of go and hang low until the spring comes around. They pop out. Next thing you know, bada boom, bada bing. You got another nest that's going to end up getting made.
They're very productive, aren't they?
Oh, they are. They are.
Relation to rabbits or what?
You know what? I've got some rabbit-like things that we have to deal with. The voles. Voles will put rabbits to shame, but
that's crazy. Now, I wanted to talk to you about this because you talked about using this stuff that you get from these, how to repel them, how to get rid of them. Mm-hmm. And you were talking about, getting products at the box stores.
Yes.
Now, there are products out there that you see that are being sold that are natural pest controls. That they're homeopathic or whatever you would call them.
Yes.
And what's your thought on them? Do they work?
It depends on the brand.
Okay.
I'll go with that. I do have some that I carry with me in case if that's something that somebody wants. There's usually like they say, there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat.
Why are you skinning cats? What's wrong with you?
Okay. Then maybe this is a wrong conversation for this, but no, there's 1,000 ways to get things done. There's
only one way, my way.
So, there some of them work. I do have some. Usually they're, some kind of a combination of 4 or 5 different types of, like you said, like neem oil. That's like one of the types. There's
but how
rosemary.
How effective are these products? I mean,
they can be effective, but they are only effective for about a week. Whereas synthetic products are effective for usually about 90 days or so. So the we call them 25B. Basically, it is a designation that the EPA does not require them to have an EPA registration number, and that's basically just because how are you going to go and say, oh, the cinnamon oil is a pesticide product? You can't. So usually the oils and the homeopathic kind of things like that, they are called 25B, which is going to be an exemption from having the actual EPA registration number on them.
Okay.
So usually there's a combination of those. They mix together and they say this is going to work for this. They do work. They will repel things, but they only usually last for a very short amount of period of time.
So you're going to buy more of the product, use more of the product.
It is, exactly. It is more expensive to do it that way than it is to go ahead and have somebody come out and just treat it and be done with it.
That's what I was thinking.
If that's a path that they do want to take, oh yeah, absolutely. But it's going to be expensive.
Right.
And
it's cost-effective wise. Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Okay, say you want to use some of these products, and because I got to discuss something with you on.
Oh yeah. Well, you were talking about off air,
right? Because I have some fruit trees.
Yes.
And if you have fruit trees or vegetables or like rose bushes, things like that. Any like when people have gardens, if any of these insects they get and they infest your gardens, I guess that people are be like, well, I want to use some of this this other
something more natural
ingredient or products. If you're using these products that are natural, I would believe anything in mass quantities can still be bad.
Yes.
So if you have to use more of this product, how does that weigh into just using another product that's maybe a little bit more potent, that maybe, say, a chemical that will be one and done and can be diluted away? If you will. I'm not a chemist. I don't know how all this works, but you know what I'm saying? You get where I'm getting?
They stick, and they stick, and they stick. So,
but what about as far as health, as far as edibleness of the fruit or vegetables that you're spraying?
In a case like that, I would say that there is different products that we could use, but none of them are really going to be at the synthetic type.
Okay.
But we can just kind of slip into this one a little bit, like you were saying. You had the problem with the Japanese beetles.
Yes.
And they're only going to be there for about a month. Maybe 45 days.
They're like relatives because they eat a lot in a month.
They're brutal. They're absolutely brutal. Yeah, about 80% of their time is underground.
Yeah.
So that would be
I didn't know that.
Time that you're going to want to attack them is you're going to want to get them in the ground. There is stuff you can spray on your bushes. Like you said, like the neem oil. That will work. It's an oil, so it will stick a little bit longer. Right. I've got tons of products that are basically designed for cases like that, where they have a little bit more, we'll say, like longevity to them, to where you can go and you can spray it every 2 weeks, every month, and they are safe to be put onto flowering, or not, we won't say flowering, but like vegetable bushes, vegetable trees, or fruit trees, so on and so forth. That's what they're designed to do.
Correct.
But there's a lot of the synthetic things. Most of them are going to be one of those things you're going to want to stay away from the trees with. But there's plenty of them that are made for it. But as far as over-the-counter stuff, I can't say I've seen anything that you could actually go and put on the trees that would be effective aside from the neem oil.
Well, you mentioned and you said, because when I told you about it, I did what I tell everybody not to do. And what I did was I saw this, and I didn't quickly identify it.
Yeah.
And I thought it was, okay, this is just, some bugs. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And then I started looking up on this, and I saw the damage these things were doing.
They're brutal.
Yeah.
within a week or two. The problem with them is they bring everybody else in. They'll go and they'll put out their pheromone that says, "Hey guys, come here, free buffet," and it's like taking
like relatives,
yeah,
like bad relatives.
Yeah.
They give them a refrigerator, and you give them a bathroom and a room to stay. They're not leaving.
They're not leaving. Nope. They just and then they bring in their relatives. They bring in their relatives.
Exactly.
Next thing you know is you're having a party on your bush.
Exactly.
And they're absolutely brutal though. They're not nice.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break because I want to get into what I found with the these Japanese beetles and
talk about that. Then.
Some other things I wanted to run by you too as well that I've seen. You're listening to the Prepare to Repair show. I'm your host, Plumber Steve, with Dan Genty with Sentry Pest Solutions, and we're here on WJOL 13.
Well,
welcome back to the Prepare to Repair show. I am your host, Plumber Steve, with RJ Grand Plumbing. Back with me is Dan Genty with Sentry Pest Solutions. And before the break, we were discussing Japanese beetles and my encounter with them, having some fruit trees and how just destructive these, and they're not ugly bugs. They
beautiful insects, but man, are they evil.
Oh, yeah.
They'll just tear your bushes up, but they are gorgeous. They are beautiful looking.
I was looking at them, I'm like, okay, what are these guys? And then they were eaten away and caused a couple of them to go into shock, and it was not good. And then I didn't know what I was dealing with. I should have called you right from the start, which I didn't, and which is my mistake. And I tell people, don't waste time when you identify an issue. Call a professional. I did not, and I tell you, it was very it was a very bad year for the trees because it took out a good 4 of them. And it wasn't pretty good because none of them had any kind of fruit on them whatsoever.
We'll swing over and we'll take care of that for next year for you.
And I didn't know they lived in the ground. Yeah, I mean,
about 80% of the time.
And I started doing research on it so you can treat the ground and
yep, exactly.
And then
treat that. It's good for about probably about 5-10 years. So the soil treatment will basically take care of them for a good long time.
Now you were saying that they're not even here yet.
Technically, they're not, but they absolutely are. If you look at a distribution map of them, the map stops at Indiana. So everybody knows that they're here. I get calls from every year, but technically the distribution of them, they're not established here yet. So,
well, I got evidence to the contrary
after this year, but man, I have not seen anything about that. I might have to look up an updated map, but I see them daily.
Yeah,
and they are. It's coming. They're coming
I've got evidence to the contrary. Let me tell you.
They actually started out in New Jersey around I believe it was 1912 or 1914, and they came over from shipments into.
So they are actually from Japan.
Yeah, they are actually from Japan. And back then they didn't do the checks on the things coming over, and even though they tried to get a hold of them, there was no stopping them. Once they got here, they skeletonized all the plants coming over here. Same thing as any of the other invasive species.
Right.
But yeah, over the last 100 years, they've been marching straight across the U.S.
That's crazy. Well, it aggravated me. So that's now we know what to do. So basically, don't do what I did. If you have an issue or any kind of bugs or any kind of pest issue, don't wait. Call a professional. Call someone like Dan.
We can treat that and fix it and make it not a problem for you.
Exactly. And that's goes for any other professional that you may need. Don't wait. Ask questions. Tons of good professionals out there that you can reach out to that'll have the knowledge and experience to get you where you need to be and save you a lot of time, money, and headache. I wish I would have done it, and I didn't. I had no idea what I was doing. And, I mean, this is only this is my first time dealing with fruit trees, so I really didn't know.
Yeah.
And, again, I know now. It's a lesson learned.
They'll touch you with those guys. They'll go and they'll rip everything apart for you.
So, but let me ask you this. Like I said, I asked you about other than Japanese, beetles, as far as in a garden. I know people have, gardens now that now are starting to really start to come in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What other, what should they be doing for other pests that would attack the fruits of their labor, so to speak?
Yeah. I see them, up until this year, I have had them on several of my customers, but the same customers. All right,
we're back.
I guess we got that taken care of.
Everybody, take cover if you're in the line of the storms, and be safe, everybody out there. And we're going to go back to you, Dan, on what we were saying as far as the garden pests, and we're going to kind of wrap it up because we're going to be running out of time.
Usually
here.
I'll see them on the vegetation on the side of people's homes. We do mosquito treatments as well. As far as general pest goes, we do pretty much all the pest control, but we also take care of mosquitoes. And we had a pretty big upkick in people that needed mosquito treatments this year. And those customers that had the mosquitoes done also didn't end up having much of a problem with the Japanese beetles, just because they're applied to the same areas.
Okay.
So I'm sure that they had quite a bit to do with it, but that is basically my treatment that I'll do for, we do the treatments that's going to basically be the same thing for the Japanese beetles, mosquitoes, and ticks. The product does a pretty amazing job of keeping all of them away.
Okay. Well, that's good to know, because we didn't really have a problem with mosquitoes.
Yeah.
It was the Japanese beetles that we had a problem with. But
every year has its own thing.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Every year has something different.
What would you say going into the fall? What is usually the thing that homeowners should either prepare for or that they should expect, and would be your increase in call volume going into the fall?
As of right now, stinging insects. We are getting call after call after call about the yellow jackets.
Really, for the fall?
Oh, yeah. Yep. They kick up now, and this is every single year. It's the same thing. Huge increase in calls about yellow jackets, bald-faced hornets. Usually the paper wasps are going to be early season, which is kind of early in the spring.
Right.
And right around now, it's the yellow jackets and the bald-faced hornets. They start to get much more aggressive. So people are starting to see them, and these giant things were hanging in their trees that they didn't see before. All of a sudden, they've gotten to be the size of, oh my gosh, what's this in my tree? I personally don't understand it. I mean, you would think you would see something the size of a baseball up in a tree, but once they get to about the size of a basketball, they're kind of hard to miss. So that's when you start getting the calls for those guys.
Oh, wow.
And then also going to fall, usually right around now, we'll start getting a big upkick in spider calls. Spiders going into September, October. That's when we'll start getting all the calls about there's 10,000 spiders in my yard. Can you guys come take a look at this? And yeah, you can go and you can shine a flashlight out there and just see eyes all looking back at you at night. It's they get a little creepy when they go and start seeing all the webs popping up all over their house and all over their yards.
You really know how to paint a picture with words, don't you?
I try.
Nice little description there. Bunch of eyes looking back.
Yeah, you shine a flashlight at your lawn at night, and you'll just see the little glowing eyes popping back from the wolf spiders and the grass spiders.
Okay, that's freaky, man.
It's pretty. Okay, I guess I am weird. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's pretty cool.
No, it's just this is what you do, and
it's what I love.
You have to know. You have to know the who, what, when, where, how, and why of what you're doing.
Exactly.
And as long as you know this, it makes you better at what you do.
I'll agree with that, yeah.
And there's some
people... It's what I love. It's odd. It's really probably sick to most people.
No.
But yeah, it is definitely an odd thing, but it is pretty cool to see as well. So
the thing is, insects are a part of our environment.
Yeah, we need them.
Right. We need them. They need us. And honestly, I mean, to us, or to them, we're probably pests to them.
We absolutely are.
So I mean,
we shouldn't be here. What is this guy doing? That was my house.
Exactly. So yeah. I mean, there's some other issues with that. So I mean, I get that. Now, I guess we're going to round out the show with, again, with the winter coming in, you do have obviously some other uninvitees coming into the home.
Every season has something different.
With I would say, depending on where you are, you're going to have some mice coming in. How do people get rid of that, or they just call you to just stop it?
As far as mice go, if you wanted to try to attack it yourself, I mean, that's perfectly fine. I'm not going to stop you. I mean, I'm even happy to talk to people over the phone and kind of coach them through what I would think would be their best options. But as far as that goes, exclusion now is absolutely going to be your best option. Go and fill in all the gaps in the holes. Right. If needed, put in a new seal on the garage doors. Check the weep holes, make sure that they're not too big for anything to come inside of the house. Right. The gaps around the utilities coming in, gaps around the AC coming in, and the number one biggest thing that I ever see that is probably one of my biggest repairs that we do every year, dryer vents. dryer vents are absolutely massive. People kind of look right past them. But if those louvers on the dryer vent are cracked, missing, not there, even kicked up with lint, that is basically a free way for any kind of rodents to come into your house. It is number one way that they get in by far.
Yeah, you sure know how to give people the warm and fuzzy feeling. Let me tell you. So if people want to get a hold of you over at Sentry Pest Solutions, how would they get a hold of you?
We've got our phone number, which is 844-293-2847 or 844-BUY-BUGS, BYEBUGS. You can also get a hold of us on Facebook or, the phone number is 844-BUY-BUGS.
Okay, great. I want to thank you for coming on the show and giving us a lot of information, especially the information you gave me about the Japanese beetles. I didn't know anything about that, and education is part of what we do here, and I do appreciate you coming on.
Hey, thanks for having us out. Appreciate it.
I want to thank everybody for listening, and do head out to Ferguson Supply for all your kitchen, bath, lighting, and appliance needs. Your dream kitchen or bathroom is as close to Tinley Park. Do check out our website for more information on today's guest or to listen to previous shows. I want to thank everybody for listening, and you'll probably catch a repeat of this show next week. I don't know if we're here for the holiday. Also, stay safe, everybody, and thank you for stopping by.